Now, not all job training programs are created equal, according to Oklahoma Senator Dr. Tom Coburn. In a report released by his office, Senator Coburn is highly critical of money being wasted on the federal level. Our Rob McClendon sat down with Senator Coburn to talk about what works and what he believes doesn't.
Dr. Coburn, in the federal oversight report that you released on job training, you really focus on here in Oklahoma. I guess my question is, why here and why that subject?
Well, if you're going to be critical, what you have to do is look at a whole area. And, I've known about this. This has been known in terms of the job training duplication that's out there for 2.5 years. And the House actually, a committee in the House actually reformed this and cut it from 33 to 1 programs. Of course, it hadn't come anywhere. The Senate won't allow it to be seen. We spend $18 billion on 47 separate job training programs, and what we decided to do is we'd look to see what works. And what we found is I had all our field reps that work for the U.S. Senate office here in Oklahoma go out and interview all Oklahoma-run job training programs, Oklahoma institutions, community colleges, career techs, and then also try to gather information on all the federal programs. And most of the federal programs were fairly cooperative, and what you see in the outcome in the report is what works is what Oklahoma runs, not what the federal government runs. In terms of truly giving skills to somebody that will help elevate their standard of living, what works is what Oklahoma does. With rare instances, some of the federal programs work, but not without significant cost and not in terms of an efficient way. So we looked at Oklahoma so that when we said, I said, hey, we're looking at us. Here's Oklahoma. Now look at your state and see how well it's working. And of course, most people won't ever do that. They won't ever look at what works.
So what makes the state-run programs through the career tech system effective?
One, flexibility. Number two, accountability to the state legislator and the governor in terms of, they have metrics on them, performance metrics. There's transparency with them. There's minimal rules. In other words, people are held accountable to do the smart, common sense, right things, and it's seen if they're not doing it. Whereas in the federal programs, we run 40 separate different federal job training programs in Oklahoma, $168 million a year. It's all controlled from Washington. Here's what you can do, here's what you can't do. There's not hardly any metrics. Some of them have metrics, but most don't have metrics. What are you accomplishing it? What did it cost to accomplish that? In Oklahoma, we know that because we're spending our money. So we're much more in tune with how it's being spent. On the federal job programs, we're spending our money too, but it's seen as coming from Washington, and the accountability isn't there.
So how important is it, no matter the state, that industry and education work together?
Critical. And career tech and community colleges have actually proven that in Oklahoma, where you combine industry needs with career tech skills generation and education through the community colleges, and not just them, but others. And what happens is you have a real formula for success. And there's good leadership too in Oklahoma. The problem we have, and it's not critical of the Oklahomans working in federal job training, they're as frustrated with them as I am. Because they see that, here's all these hurdles we have to jump to be able to accomplish something, and they're telling us what we can and can't do, and in the matter of common sense, it doesn't make any sense that we're doing what you're telling us to do. Give us some flexibility, and of course there is none.
So just to be clear here, in today's economy, do you believe there is a role for job training?
Absolutely, but not federal.
Okay, so
just go look at the numbers. It's not working anywhere effectively or efficiently. When we're running $1.4 trillion budget deficits, and we're spending $1 on job training that's not effective, and we could be spending that dollar doing breast cancer research that might save somebody's life, where's the moral equation there? Instead of saying, oh, well, we're throwing money at it, we see it as a problem. And so what I highlighted was, not all of Oklahoma's programs work perfectly, but in contrast to the federal job training programs, they're so much better. It's like night and day. The reason is leadership. You actually have, and responsibility. People are taking leadership positions to make them work in Oklahoma.
All right. Dr. Coburn, thanks so much.
You're welcome.